Part 4 of What's in a Name. I've never considered myself exceptionally attractive, but constantly rubbing and scratching rashes on my face is a terrible look. I said conversationally as I carefully inspected the obviously enchanted mask. Obvious because it was no longer a white porcelain, emotionless face, but a dark-colored bird with a short beak. It was also imbued with a glamour urging me to don the mask again, but I ignored the compulsion as I traced my fingers along the etching that detailed the feathers. This is beautiful craftsmanship. Is this supposed to be a crow or a raven? Do you know the difference? The Morgan asked in a nonchalant tone. Oh, well, ravens are a type of crow. They're a smaller type, and their beaks are longer, and they are black and sometimes have white underwing feathers. Crows are black, brown, gray, or dark blue, and often have white pin feathers. And with the tail feathers, ravens form a triangle, but crows are flat. I conjured up illusions of both birds that highlighted the physical differences as I described them, and how eating habits also differentiated crows from ravens. But you doubtlessly know these things, Your Majesty. I concluded my lecture with a self-deprecating smile. The mask is supposed to reflect the persona and role of the wearer. You are the storm crow, therefore it is a crow, and you are as talkative as a crow. I resumed examining the mask to get a sense of its properties. Oh, this allows me to turn into a crow at will. And 3 times a day, I can summon blackbirds and jays within a mile radius to serve me for up to 1 hour. If I summon them to help with a task as your harbinger, and if I turn into a crow, does that make us a murderer of crows? I smiled at my joke. Yes, it does, the Morgan answered, but did not appear to have realized my joke. How does it work? Direction of death, that is. There is obviously necromancy and divination, but does it work by detecting the strength of one's life force, or through precognition? I asked, sensing the proximity of life from the newly growing grass, interspersed with the dead trees and bushes. Direction of death is innate to you, not the mask. You are aware of every living thing within a 500-yard radius and the strength of their life force. When a sentient being is close to dying within the next 24 hours, you will be notified, and a detection spell activates to tell you where that individual is located in relation to you. While you do not need the mask to obtain that information, the mask permits you to scry on the target and the immediate vicinity of a 50-foot radius. What happens if I'm doing something else important and the time sensitive and the direction of death is discharged? If you fail to attain your responsibilities, the direction becomes increasingly distracting and uncomfortable to you until the individual dies or their life essence strengthens by more than 20%. I do not anticipate that to be a common occurrence and trust that you will honor my request to not leave other souls to wander into undeath because you are testing the limits of your abilities and my patience. Dereliction of your responsibilities will have unpleasant consequences for you and others. Your Majesty, am I permitted to use other magic or obtain other talents to fulfill my duties to you? Or must I always be me, in person, using only my non-arcane skills? You may use whatever resources or skills you have at your disposal, the Morgan answered. I don the mask once more and look around. Do my eyes glow red when I wear this? No, but you can store low-powered illusions and enchantments to assist with your theatrics in the commission of your responsibilities. What if someone does not wish to die? It is your decision on whether or not you wish to employ your talents to delay or accelerate passage. If someone is recalcitrant, use Soul Bastille to bring them to me, the Phantom Queen answered. I look at her in utter confusion. Soul Bastille? In the second pouch at your right hip, sheathed and wrapped in black cloth. You have the Gurkha knife of rutile crystal, a Curie Solimar, offered in exchange for Frostnip. I know she probably got the better end of that deal, but since I planned to give it to a holy warrior or champion knight anyway, it's not a great loss. But how did you know about it? I inquired as I retrieved the aforementioned knife. The Morgan smiled. Soul Bastille is an item designed to expand my influence, and its personality is ill-suited to one of Akuri Solomar's outlook, so I suggested that she approach you for a trade. It sounds as if you arranged our meeting to take place. I did. I require access to your talents and experience. You could have just asked me yourself instead of killing this expanse of forest. I claim this area to expand my territory. The fact that it drew your attention was merely a bonus. Akuri Solomar sought a transaction from me, and we both made use of her relationship to you. My eyes widened. I'm surprised. Surprised your friend set you up? I laughed and shook my head. Akuri never considered me a friend. We are associated only because our parents were friends, and she has used me and discarded me for political expediency on several occasions. But I saw no particular reason to elaborate. No, Your Majesty. I'm surprised she sought you out for favor because your antagonism with the Sealy court is well known. And Akuri is a knight champion who narrows her associations based on that affiliation. The sovereign of Corvid shrugged. The politics of the fairy courts were not her concern. Yet, as the name implies, the knife may be used to trap and contain a soul. You mentioned that this is sentient, I inquired. Yes, it mimics aspects of its previous bonded owner. She was a changeling bounty hunter and assassin. I immediately pressed the curved knife into the Morgan's left hand. You can have this back. She looked down at the knife, then over to me.